Hi YouTube family, a pleasant good night to each and every one of you. I hope you all are having a wonderful day so far. I would like to say happy Good Friday to everybody who are celebrating. And you know it's not Easter in a Guyanese kitchen without some cross buns, some hot cross buns. I have it freshly made, hot out of the oven for you all. If you haven't made yours yet, I'm gonna have the recipe for you, and I have many more recipe of different version of the cross buns. So sit back, relax, and let me show you how I prepare this one. It's very simple, easy, and delicious. So first of all, to make our cross buns, we have to activate the yeast, and here I have a little bit of warm milk out of the entire amount that I'm using. I'm gonna go ahead and add my yeast in there, and I will leave all the measurement and ingredients I'm using today in the description box below. Sugar helps the yeast to activate quickly. So I'm gonna add just about a teaspoon in there. I'm gonna give it a little mix. And then I'll cover this down and leave it for about 5 to 8 minutes until our yeast is fully activated before we start the mixing process. So we have all our ingredients here for one batch of the cross buns. Today I'm going to be making more than one batch. I have some milk, nutmeg, melted butter. I have some raisins blended up with milk. I have here brown sugar, and I have some more raisins that I'm going to roughly chop to add into the mixture. And here is some cinnamon powder. I have my all-purpose flour, and today I'm going to use my mixer because we're making more than one batches. It takes a little bit time to knead by hand, but I have hubby who is going to help me with doing all the mixing. And like I mentioned before, we love to bake together, Easter, Christmas, and you know he's the best roti helper, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me chop up all the raisins, and then we will start kneading our dough for the cross buns. So now I'm gonna roughly chop my raisins, and notice for my cross buns today I'm gonna be using a little bit of pureed raisins and some chopped up raisin, because the puree will help it to be nice and sticky, and it will distribute evenly throughout the mixture and give us that nice, beautiful, fruity flavor. So we're gonna add all our dried ingredients into the flour, starting with my cinnamon. I do have 2 other cross buns recipe with some different ingredients added into them. So every time I make it, I try to change it up a little. Today, this one is a very simple version. We're gonna go in with some nutmeg. We're gonna go in and add our sugar, brown sugar. And with that nutmeg and cinnamon, it already smells nice. You can also add allspice in here. I have that in one of my other recipe, but I just have different options for those who cannot find allspice or those who only prefer cinnamon and nutmeg. You have choices. Before that, we can't forget our raisin, and this is the chopped up raisin. I'm adding half because I'm making another batch. So we're adding it to the dried flour. Wow, the smell. You get that smell? So in our yeast, I added the rest of my milk. I'm gonna go in with my melted butter. So all the liquid we're gonna add at the same time. And I'm gonna go in with half of our blended raisin. And this is gonna give it a nice sticky finish. Half of it. I'll leave all the measurement in the description below. And then I'm gonna mix this up a little. So remember to do this after your yeast is already activated. So in with the wet ingredients, and hubby's gonna do the mixing for me. I am not adding the regular fruit that you make for your cake at Christmas because this is a cross buns. We don't want to have alcohol in there. So let me show you what hubby's gonna do next. So he's gonna mix slowly because we don't want to have the flour flying all over the place until the dough is holding up together. So check out our dough, beautiful and nice. You can see how rich this buns will be. There is little pieces of the raisin all over, and that's what you're looking for. The dough is kind of firm and still soft, a little bit sticky, but you can see that my hands are clean when I'm holding it. It is done perfectly well. I'm gonna leave this dough to sit, covered in a nice warm place. About an hour and a half. You can go do something else, come back to it. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but at least 1 hour. The longer you leave it to sit, the better result you're gonna come out with. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not putting any specific time limit on this one because I have some stuff to do. When I'm done, I'm gonna come back to it. So my beautiful dough is ready. It has been sitting for a little. We're gonna make a log. You can see how nice and rich the dough is looking and have a beautiful brown color. So I made a long, nice log. I cut it in half and I have a nice roll here. So I'm gonna cut this back in half. You just wanna make sure to have some nice even pieces. If they're not perfectly even, that is also fine. So we have 3 pieces, 4, 5, 6 from half of it. I'm gonna roll them off and then we're gonna let these sit for a little bit more. Just to form up, I have to create the cross for these. So I'm gonna use a piece to create the cross. So we wanna make a nice circle like that. I'm gonna rest this in here. And then I'll keep doing the same thing. So to make the cross on the top, we took a piece of the dough. I'm gonna cut it back into small pieces like this. And then we're gonna roll it off as thinly as I can like this. And this is what I'm gonna use. See that? I have 2 pieces here. Right on the top. And then the other one goes over. And there you have it. So I'm gonna put this over here now. See, I have 2 done. And then I have the rest here that I'm gonna keep making my cross, and then I'll show you once I finish all of them. So after putting on my cross, this is how they look. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit more. You can also make cross with some icing sugar and just put the cross on top of them when they're done. And that can be one way, or you can make some plain white flour in a liquid kind of paste and then put it on the top, and that's another way. So my oven is hot. I'm gonna put these babies in and then we will show you the finished product. So while my buns are finishing off in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and make a simple syrup to just brush on top, and that will give it a nice, beautiful, spicy finish and a nice, shiny glaze on the top. I'm gonna be using some cardamom, and I have it here, some cinnamon, some butter, sugar, and 1 mandarin juice into my glaze, and this is gonna give us a delicious flavor for our cross buns. So let's head on to the stove and prepare that glaze. So into the pan with some water, I added my sugar, cinnamon, cardamom, and butter. We're gonna let the water warm up, and when it's almost done, we're gonna add our mandarin juice. So I'm gonna go in with my mandarin juice, and just like that, our syrup is ready. I'm gonna give it a little mix. My cross buns are done, and we're gonna glaze those babies, and they are ready to be eaten. So my cross buns are finished. The other 2 batches are done as well. I'm gonna start glazing them. They're looking nice and inviting. So now it's time to brush them with that beautiful mandarin spices flavor. I'm gonna brush them about 2 times before I achieve what I'm looking for on the top. They are nice and hot and ready. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Come and get your cross buns now. Happy Good Friday, everyone. Wishing you all a peaceful, safe day today. So cross buns are packing off now to go to share in church today. And then I have these bags that I'm gonna put them in. Hot cross buns, there it is. On Easter weekend, we are celebrating the death and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. Good Friday, we normally go to church for a beautiful Good Friday worship service. Today, I'm giving a little sneak peek of our service today. And if anyone is living in Toronto and interested in going to church on Sunday, church starts at 10:30 to 1. All are invited. Today was also communion service. Blessings to you all. So guys, on Good Friday, we normally go to church. I just don't want the camera to be shaking too much, but there's a lot of construction going on here, so please forgive me for all the shaking up. So we're heading back home now. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a peaceful, blessed rest of your Good Friday and a wonderful rest of the Easter weekend. Take care. We love you all. If you're from Guyana, fly a kite for me, because I used to enjoy doing that when I was back there. Until then, I want to say bye for now. Love you guys.